The summer sun beat down mercilessly on the winding road as I gripped the steering wheel, my best friend Mike blasting his favorite indie rock playlist from the passenger seat. We'd planned this lake house getaway for months, a chance to escape the suffocating grind of college finals and just unwind in his family's secluded cabin in upstate New York. But as we pulled up to the weathered dock, a figure emerged from the shadows of the porch. Mike's older brother, Ryan, home unexpectedly from his deployment overseas, his piercing gaze locking onto mine in a way that sent an inexplicable shiver down my spine. I hadn't seen Ryan in years, not since high school when he was the untouchable star quarterback, always surrounded by admirers, while I was the quiet kid in the art club, nursing a secret crush that I buried deep. Mike slapped his brother on the back with a grin, oblivious to the tension crackling in the air. "Alex, you remember Ryan? He's crashing our bro weekend. Hope you don't mind sharing the loft." That first evening set the tone for the chaos to come. We unpacked, cracked open some beers, and headed to the lake for a swim. Mike dove in with his usual reckless abandon, splashing water everywhere, but Ryan hung back, stripping off his shirt to reveal the scars from his time in the Marines. Reminders of battles fought far from this peaceful retreat. I tried not to stare, but his presence was magnetic, pulling me in despite the warning bells in my head. As the sun dipped low, painting the water in hues of orange and gold, Ryan caught me alone on the dock. "You look different, Alex. Grown up." His voice was low, rough around the edges from years of command, but there was a softness in his eyes that made my heart race. Dinner that night was a simple affair, grilled burgers and stories around the fire pit. Mike dominated the conversation, recounting our college escapades, but Ryan's questions were directed at me. About my photography major, my dreams of traveling the world with a camera in hand. It felt like he was seeing me for the first time, not as his little brother's tag-along friend, but as someone worth knowing. Mike teased us relentlessly, calling us the odd couple. But beneath the laughter, I sensed an undercurrent of something deeper, something forbidden. As the days blurred into lazy afternoons of fishing and hiking, the lake house became a pressure cooker for unspoken truths. Ryan opened up one morning over coffee, the steam rising between us like a veil. He'd enlisted right after high school to escape their conservative hometown, where their father, a retired cop, preached traditional values with an iron fist. "Dad always said real men don't show weakness," Ryan confessed, his fingers tracing the rim of his mug. "But over there in the desert, I saw what holding everything in does to a guy." I shared my own struggles. Coming out to my progressive parents in Seattle had been a relief, but navigating friendships like mine with Mike, who still cracked awkward jokes about gay stuff, was a minefield. The first real conflict erupted during a family barbecue Mike insisted on hosting, inviting a few locals they'd known from childhood summers. Among them was Sarah, Ryan's high school sweetheart, now a teacher in town, her eyes lighting up at the sight of him. Mike played matchmaker, pushing them together with not-so-subtle hints about settling down. I watched from the sidelines, a knot twisting in my gut as Ryan laughed at her jokes, his arm casually around her shoulders. That night, after everyone left, I confronted him on the porch. "What's the deal with Sarah? You two picking up where you left off?" My voice cracked, betraying more than I intended. Ryan's face hardened, then softened. "It's complicated, Alex. Dad expects me to come home, marry someone like her, start a family. That's the life he mapped out." He stepped closer, the scent of pine and lake water clinging to him. "But being here with you, it feels real in a way nothing else has." Our hands brushed, and in that moment the world narrowed to just us, the first spark of something that could ignite everything. The next day, Mike noticed the shift. We were out on the boat, the engine humming as we skimmed across the water. "You and Ryan seem tight all of a sudden," he said, eyeing me suspiciously. I shrugged it off, but inside, guilt gnawed at me. Mike was straight as an arrow, raised in the same rigid household as Ryan, and while he'd never outright condemned my sexuality, he'd made it clear he didn't get it. The thought of betraying his trust terrified me, yet the pull toward Ryan was undeniable. Evenings turned intimate. While Mike crashed early from too much sun, Ryan and I stayed up, sharing stories under the stars. He talked about the nightmares that woke him, the friends he'd lost, and how the military's don't ask, don't tell era had forced him to hide parts of himself. I confessed my fears of never finding someone who understood the isolation of being different in a small-town world. One night, as thunder rumbled in the distance, our conversation turned personal. "Have you ever wondered what it would be like?" Ryan asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I nodded, and in the dim light of the cabin, our lips met, a tentative kiss that exploded with years of pent-up emotion. But reality crashed in the next morning. Mike walked in on us sharing a quiet moment over breakfast, our hands intertwined under the table. His face paled, then flushed with anger. "What the hell is this?" he demanded, his voice echoing off the wooden walls. Ryan pulled away, standing tall. "Mike, it's not what you think." But Mike cut him off. "Not what I think. You're my brother, and he's my best friend. This is messed up, man. Dad's gonna flip." The argument escalated, voices rising as old family wounds reopened. Mike accused Ryan of confusing his post-deployment emotions, of using me as an experiment. "You're not gay, Ryan. You've dated girls your whole life." Ryan fired back, defending his right to explore his identity without judgment. I stood there, caught in the crossfire, my heart breaking as the two people I cared about most tore each other apart. In the heat of it, Mike stormed out, grabbing his keys and peeling away in the truck, leaving Ryan and me in stunned silence. "I should have told him sooner," Ryan muttered, slumping into a chair. I knelt beside him, our foreheads touching. "We both should have. But this isn't just some fling, it's real." Yet doubt crept in. Was I worth the rift in their family? The lake house, once a sanctuary, now felt like a prison of secrets. As the sun set that evening, Ryan and I walked along the shore, the water lapping at our feet. "I don't regret it," he said firmly. "For the first time, I feel like I'm living for myself." But the weight of societal expectations loomed large. Their father's impending visit, the gossip in their tight-knit community, the fear of rejection that had kept Ryan closeted for so long. Mike returned late that night, his eyes red from what I assumed was a drive to clear his head. He didn't yell. Instead, he sat us down with a heavy sigh. "I love you both, but this is gonna destroy our family. Dad's old school. He won't understand." The conversation dragged into the wee hours, filled with tears and tentative understandings. Mike admitted his own biases, shaped by an upbringing that equated masculinity with heterosexuality. "I just don't want to lose either of you," he confessed. The turning point came the next day when their father arrived unannounced, his pickup truck rumbling up the drive. Mr. Harlan was a towering man with a no-nonsense demeanor, his face etched with lines from years on the force. Mike had called him, spilling everything in a panic. The confrontation was brutal, accusations flew, with Mr. Harlan decrying Ryan's phase as a betrayal of family values. "I raised you better than this," he bellowed, his voice shaking the rafters. I stepped in, my voice steady despite the fear. "Sir, love isn't a choice. Ryan served his country honorably. Doesn't he deserve happiness?" The room fell silent, the air thick with tension. Ryan stood by my side, his hand finding mine in defiance. "Dad, this is who I am. Alex makes me feel whole." Mr. Harlan's response was a mix of anger and heartbreak. He stormed out, vowing to cut ties if Ryan pursued this lifestyle. The fallout rippled through us all, Mike torn between loyalty to his father and brother, me questioning if I was the catalyst for their family's unraveling. In the days that followed, the lake house became a battlefield of emotions. Ryan and I grew closer, our bond forged in adversity, but the shadows of doubt lingered. We hiked the trails, sharing dreams of a future unbound by expectations. Yet each phone call from home brought fresh pain. Mike oscillated between support and resentment, his friendship with me strained by the secret we'd kept. One afternoon, as we fished in silence, Mike broke the ice. "I get it now, sort of. Seeing you too. It's real. But society's not kind to guys like you." His words hung heavy, a reminder of the broader conflicts. Workplace discrimination, legal battles for equality, the ongoing fight against prejudice in America. Ryan's resolve hardened. Then we fight. Together. But the pressure mounted when Sarah reappeared, invited by Mr. Harlan in a desperate bid to straighten things out. She confessed her lingering feelings, pleading with Ryan to choose the easier path. The scene was heart-wrenching. Tears, ultimatums, and the raw exposure of vulnerabilities. I watched Ryan waver, the pull of familiarity strong, but he turned to me. I can't go back to pretending. We embraced, the decision sealing our fate amid the chaos. As the weekend drew to a close, alliances shifted. Mike, after a long talk with Ryan, pledged his support, even if it meant standing against their father. Family's more than blood, he said gruffly. Mr. Harlan left without reconciliation, but a seed of hope remained, a promise to think things over. Packing up, I reflected on the whirlwind. A simple getaway transformed into a crucible of self-discovery and love. Ryan and I drove away hand in hand, the lake house fading in the rearview, but the battles ahead loomed large. The drive back to the city was tense, the highway stretching endlessly under a gray sky that mirrored our moods. Ryan stared out the window, his jaw set, while Mike fiddled with the radio in the back seat, avoiding eye contact. I'd hoped the lake house revelations would bring closure, but they only opened wounds that festered in the silence. Back in our college apartment in Buffalo, the real world intruded. News of Ryan's situation spread like wildfire through their extended family, courtesy of Mr. Harlan's heated phone calls. Aunts and uncles weighed in with unsolicited advice, some supportive but most echoing the conservative rhetoric that had defined their upbringing. Ryan's phone buzzed incessantly, each message a dagger. Think about your future. Don't throw it all away for a phase. I tried to be his anchor, cooking dinners and listening as he vented. I enlisted to make Dad proud, he admitted one night, sprawled on the couch with his head in my lap. Now I'm the disappointment. My fingers threaded through his hair, offering comfort, but inside, I battled my own demons. Guilt for appending his life, fear that he'd resent me. Mike, living with us temporarily while job hunting, navigated the minefield awkwardly. He'd swing from ally to antagonist, one day defending us to a mutual friend, the next making offhand comments that stung. Just don't flaunt it around me, okay? He'd say, then apologize profusely. His internal conflict mirrored society's broader struggles, the push for LGBTQ rights clashing with ingrained norms in Rust Belt America. The first major clash came at a family gathering Ryan insisted on attending, a cousin's wedding in their hometown. Mr. Harlan had grudgingly invited us, but the atmosphere was frigid. Whispers followed us through the reception hall. That's the brother who's, you know. Ryan held his head high, but I saw the toll it took. His smile forced as relatives avoided eye contact. During the toasts, an uncle drunkenly cornered Ryan. Military made you soft, boy? Back in my day, we'd straighten that out. Ryan's fists clenched, but he walked away, pulling me outside for air. This is what we're up against, he whispered, his breath warm against my ear. In the moonlight, we shared a kiss, defiant yet tender. But the moment was shattered when Mike appeared, his face ashen. Dad's inside, fuming. He says if you don't end this, you're out of the will. The ultimatum hung over us like a storm cloud. Back home, Ryan paced the apartment, torn between love and legacy. It's not about the money, it's the rejection. I urged him to choose us, but doubt crept in. Was I selfish for pushing him? The drama intensified when Sarah called, offering a normal life, her voice laced with desperation. Ryan hung up, but the seed was planted. Social conflicts escalated beyond family. At my photography exhibit on campus, a group of conservative students protested, citing moral decay in my portraits of queer couples, including one of Ryan and me, captured discreetly at the lake. Flyers circulated, labeling us as agitators. Ryan, still adjusting to his identity, faced scrutiny from old Marine buddies who messaged him with disdain. Thought you were one of the good ones. One evening, the pressure boiled over. Ryan snapped during dinner, accusing me of not understanding his sacrifices. You've been out forever, easy for you. Hurt. I retreated to the bedroom, tears stinging. Mike mediated, forcing us to talk. You two are stronger together, he said, his own growth evident. Ryan apologized, pulling me close. I love you, Alex. That's what matters. But love alone couldn't shield us from external storms. Mr. Harlan showed up unannounced, his face thunderous. This ends now, he declared, thrusting papers at Ryan. Legal documents disowning him unless he got help. The confrontation was raw. Shouts, pleas, revelations of Mr. Harlan's own repressed youth. I lost a brother to this. Suicide because he couldn't live openly. The admission cracked his facade, but pride won out. He left without resolution. In the aftermath, Ryan and I leaned on each other, our bond deepening amid the turmoil. We attended a local LGBTQ support group, hearing stories that echoed ours. Families divided, societies judging. It fueled Ryan's determination. He started volunteering, advocating for veterans exploring their sexuality. Mike's arc peaked when he confronted their father privately. If you lose Ryan over this, you lose me too. The standoff lingered, but cracks appeared. Mr. Harlan sent a terse text, need time. As fall turned to winter, our relationship evolved. Intimate moments, cooking together, watching snow fall, provided solace. Yet controversies swirled. A local news story on gay conversion therapies mentioned their town, sparking debates. Ryan spoke out online, drawing both praise and backlash. One night, after a heated argument with a relative, Ryan proposed we move away, start fresh in a more accepting city like Seattle. With you, I can face anything. My heart soared, but hesitation lingered. Was running the answer, or fighting? The high drama culminated at Thanksgiving, hosted defiantly at our apartment. Invites went out, including to Mr. Harlan. Tensions simmered as guests arrived, supportive friends mingling with wary family. When Mr. Harlan showed, silence fell. He pulled Ryan aside, his voice gruff. I don't understand, but I don't want to lose my son. It wasn't full acceptance, but a step, a truce born of love's persistence. Winter's grip tightened on Buffalo, snow blanketing the streets as Ryan and I navigated the fragile peace with his family. Mr. Harlan's Thanksgiving olive branch, a stiff hug and muttered, take care, was progress, but old habits died hard. Phone calls remained awkward, laced with unspoken judgments, while Ryan's mother, silent through much of the storm, sent care packages with notes of quiet support. Our relationship, once a secret flame, now burned openly, but not without fuel for controversy. At work, Ryan back in construction, me freelancing photography, whispers followed. A coworker outed Ryan to the crew, leading to taunts that tested his temper. Fairy in the foreman? One jeered. Ryan reported it, sparking a HR investigation that divided the site. Some rallied for equality, others clung to machismo. I faced my own battles. A commission for a queer-themed photo series drew online trolls, their comments vicious, promoting deviance. It hit home when my parents visited, their liberal views clashing with the reality of our struggles. Why stay in this backward place? Mom asked. But Ryan's roots ran deep. Leaving felt like defeat. Mike, now employed at a tech firm, became our unlikely advocate. He'd evolved, attending pride events and challenging friends' biases. Seeing you two happy changed me, he admitted over beers. Yet his growth stirred family drama. Mr. Harlan accused him of enabling sin, straining their bond. The plot thickened with Sarah's return. Engaged to another, she sought closure, meeting Ryan for coffee. I trusted him, but jealousy gnawed as he recounted their talk. Her tears, his reassurances. She wanted what we have, real connection. It highlighted society's pressure on women like her, trapped in expectations too. A major conflict arose when Ryan's veteran group hosted a panel on LGBTQ service members. He spoke candidly about his journey, the video going viral locally. Praise poured in, but so did hate, threats that forced us to install security cams. One night, eggs splattered our door, a slur scrawled in paint. Police dismissed it as prank, but fear settled in. In the midst of this, our love deepened. Ryan surprised me with a weekend getaway. Not the lake house, but a cozy B&B in the Catskills. Snow fell softly as we hiked, hands linked. "Remember our first kiss?" he murmured by a frozen stream. We reaffirmed our commitment, dreaming of marriage despite legal hurdles in some minds. Back home, the backlash peaked. Mr. Harlan, influenced by church friends, urged Ryan to seek counseling. The confrontation at a family dinner was explosive. "This isn't natural," Ryan countered with facts, science on sexuality, stories of happy queer families. Mrs. Harlan intervened, her voice steady. "Enough. Let him be happy." The emotional toll mounted. Ryan battled insomnia, haunted by deployment memories intertwined with current stress. I held him through nights, whispering affirmations. "We're worth it." Therapy helped, unpacking layers of trauma and identity. Social debates amplified when a state bill on conversion therapy bans hit the news. Ryan testified, his story swaying opinions, but it alienated relatives who viewed it as attacking faith. Mike organized a support rally, drawing crowds and media, controversy that painted us as activists. Personal choices fueled tension. When I proposed adopting a dog, a symbol of our future, Ryan hesitated. "What if Dad never comes around?" It sparked our biggest fight. Me accusing him of stalling, him fearing loss. Reconciliation came tearfully, the pup becoming our family. As spring thawed the snow, hope bloomed. Mr. Harlan attended a therapy session with Ryan, admissions flowing. His brother's suicide buried shame. "I was scared for you." Tears bridged gaps, though full acceptance lagged. Our circle expanded, friends hosting us, sharing stories of similar struggles. Yet controversies lingered. A school board debate on LGBTQ curriculum in their hometown, Ryan's input drawing fire. In quiet moments, we reflected on growth. "From lake house secret to this," Ryan said, kissing my forehead. But the path ahead twisted, choices looming. Stay and fight, or seek easier shores. Spring brought renewal to Buffalo, flowers blooming amid lingering chill, much like our lives. Ryan's relationship with Mr. Harlan improved incrementally. Awkward barbecues, stilted talks about the bills instead of us. But undercurrents of conflict persisted, especially when extended family gathered for Easter, judgments veiled in prayers. Our activism ramped up. After the vandalism, we joined a local advocacy group, pushing for hate crime reforms. Ryan's military background lent credibility, but it invited scrutiny. "Traitor to your uniform?" Online haters spat. I documented it all through photos, my exhibit Hidden Battles gaining traction, sparking debates on social media about veteran mental health and queer rights. Mike's engagement to his girlfriend added layers. Wedding planning highlighted divides, Mr. Harlan pushing traditional roles, while Mike insisted on inclusivity, inviting us as groomsmen. "Your family," he said firmly, but whispers at fittings questioned our presence. "Won't it upset guests?" A pivotal controversy erupted when Ryan came out publicly in a Veteran magazine interview. Shares skyrocketed, inspiring messages from closeted service members, but backlash from conservative vets groups labeled him a propaganda tool. Threats escalated, we changed routines, paranoia shadowing dates. Emotionally, it strained us. Ryan withdrew at times, questioning his choices. "Was the lake house a mistake?" he'd muse. I'd pull him back with reminders of joy, lazy Sundays, shared laughs. "No regrets," I'd affirm, our intimacy a refuge. Sarah's wedding invitation arrived, a test. Ryan attended alone, respecting my unease, but returned conflicted. Seeing her happy made me want that for us. It ignited discussions on marriage, legal in New York but symbolically charged in their family. The climax built at Mike's bachelor party, a mix of old friends. Tensions flared when a drunk buddy mocked our relationship. "Ryan's gone soft." Fists nearly flew, but Mike intervened. "Back off. He's braver than any of us." The night ended in heartfelt talks, bonds strengthening. Family drama peaked pre-wedding. Mr. Harlan cornered me. You're good for him, but this world's harsh. His concern, though backhanded, signaled shift. At the ceremony, he walked Ryan down as best man. A quiet nod. Post-wedding, we vacationed in Seattle, my hometown oasis. Progressive vibes refreshed us, but Ryan missed roots. We can't run forever. Debates ensued. Relocate or reform? Back east, a community event, a pride parade became our stand. Ryan marched, flag in hand, Mr. Harlan watching from sidelines. Afterward, he approached. Proud of you, son. Tears flowed, barriers crumbling. Yet not all resolved. Relatives disinvited us from gatherings. Societal divides stark. Our dog, now a fixture, symbolized commitment amid uncertainty. As summer neared, echoing the lake house, we planned a return. Not escape, but reclamation. Full circle, Ryan said, hope in his eyes. The lake house loomed familiar yet transformed as we arrived. The water sparkling under June's sun. This time, no secrets, just Ryan, me, and tentative family inclusion. Mike joined later, Mr. Harlan surprisingly agreeing to visit. Unpacking evoked memories. The dock where it began, the porch of confessions. Ryan pulled me close. From confusion to clarity. We swam, laughed, the air lighter. Conflicts hadn't vanished. News of anti-LGBTQ legislation in other states sparked debates around the fire. Mr. Harlan listened, his views softening. Times change, but old prejudices surfaced when a neighbor dropped slurs casually. Ryan challenged him, earning respect. Personal choices deepened. We discussed adoption, Ryan's eyes lighting when imagining a family. Despite everything, it stirred controversy. Relatives arguing, kids need normal parents. We countered with studies, love's primacy. Mike's news, he and his wife expecting, brought joy and envy. You'll be uncles, he beamed. It highlighted our path's hurdles. Surrogacy costs, legal battles. The visit's peak. Mr. Harlan arrived, bearing fishing gear. Talks turned deep. Apologies for past hurts, acknowledgments of growth. I was wrong, he admitted. Ryan hugged him, healing beginning. As we departed, the lake house symbolized resilience. Our love, forged in drama, stood strong amid societal storms. But was it right to disrupt a family for personal happiness?